Hey everybody, this is Oscar, your health plan coach, and welcome to another session here of Expose Your Worth. Today I talk with Frank. He's an account executive with Networks Group. He's a cybersecurity expert. Take a gander what's going to happen in this episode. I want you to check out what he does. He's got a great value proposition for businesses today. You can't get better than cybersecurity in some cases, so I really hope you get a lot out of this session. Check it out. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Oscar, your health plan coach here at Expose Your Worth. I've got a very interesting individual today, Frank Whitting. He's with Networks Group out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Frank, welcome to the show.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, Oscar.
Great. So, we're all living in this isolated world today, and and I think Frank and I have both felt that it's a Friday. I think we're ready for the weekend to start. So we're gonna go through some things that I think will hopefully and bring some light into what Frank does for his own company and some of the things that we can dive into. So I am going to talk a little bit about that. So it's in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So tell me a little bit about what you guys offer and what's your position here in the market.
Sounds good. So Networks Group has been around for 24 years. As the name of Networks Group might imply, we do manage networks and firewalls, both with hardware as well as the actual design and administration of those. So that's where we got our start. Over the last 10 years or so, we've gotten especially good at what's called ethical hacking, sometimes called third-party risk assessments, also known as pen testing or penetration testing. All of those things mean with companies' approval, they bring us in to attack their networks like a hacker would. And we've gotten especially good at that. We've worked with companies large and small across many different industries, a lot of experience in healthcare and financial markets, manufacturing, all the way up into Fortune 100 companies. There's one of the major banks in the country, which we do PCI compliance work because we're also a QSA for PSI. We work with PCI. We also work with some other frameworks like the NIST framework, for example. And we provide all those different services with compliance in mind, but with a long-term focus on improving a company's security posture. We're able to, when we do pen testing, we're able to get in about 95% of the time, full domain admin control. It's not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So I mean, you mentioned something. What pen testing, to take for as an example, what does pen testing do? What's the process of that?
With pen testing, we come at a company through a lot of different ways. We want to try to test their defenses, whether it be through an email phishing attack, whether that be through checking out a lot of different things, whether it be going physically to their buildings, whether it be over the phone, what's called vishing, pretending to be an employee, trying to get access. We come at them from many different ways. We'll shop the dark web for credentials of employees and logins. We have a lot of different ways in which we'll try to get into a company. And then just like you would go to the doctor in order to have your temperature be taken, get your blood pressure and all of that, we kind of build the baseline for what's going on at that company, what's their current security posture, and then we work with them long-term in order to build out a plan for improving that.
So how do I know, like, let's say, you work with Fortune 500 companies and even probably smaller groups, but how would I know maybe that there's a need to even secure my network? What kind of problems am I experiencing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. It's an interesting place in the cybersecurity world because a lot of companies know, hey, I could be hacked by Russia, or I could be hacked by China or some other nation state, and that's true. But there are also a whole lot of other threats out there. Everything from the kid down the street trying to explore, and then ransomware. Ransomware has expanded very rapidly in the last few years. I was looking at some statistics. In Q3 of 2018, the average ransomware payout was like $5,000 to $10,000. Now we're in the couple $100,000 in early 2021, and that's just the payout. That doesn't include the impact with customers, the impact with management, employee loyalty, investors. The cost is now easily in the millions for being hit with ransomware, and so people large and small are affected. I don't want to talk for too long here, but we had a manufacturer in the tool and die business get hit for over $700,000 because someone got into their email system. So there are very, very real threats out there for companies large and small.
Wow, that's impressive. And I've heard of those. Everybody gets to read those stories, and I think they think, well, I mean, either they're not going to get affected, they're going to take a risk. I mean, maybe it's not something that's even a budget item they can put in. And so when you work with these, I mean, give me an idea. Maybe what's a scenario, an industry that you've actually kind of worked with that became one of your clients?
Sure. And actually, I'm going to hit on that really briefly. What we often like to lead with is the pen testing, is starting with the pen test, because that will provide specifically to management an idea for how many risks are out there and why we suggest what we do. If we come in with the cure before they realize they might be as sick as they could be, or as many blind spots as there could be out there, they're a lot more resistant to take the cure. But if we show them we were able to do all of these things within a short amount of time, it wasn't a dedicated attack of many weeks. It was, listen, with a fixed scope of time, this is all that we're able to do. Our reporting is geared towards helping management understand the threats. So I realize I didn't entirely answer the question, but we get people who go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that's no, yeah, you've actually hit the nail on the head. I mean, in fact, if I'm somebody who wants to work with you, what do you guys kind of come in and set a proposal, or how does that work where we start off as a business person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get leads through many different ways. Actually, one of our biggest leads is through referrals and other people who have had experience working with us. We don't have a big, huge marketing budget. We're not going to have any Super Bowl ads anytime soon, but we've done good work, and that's why we're in business for 24 years and counting. So lots of people have heard about us. So word of mouth, networking. We'll go to conferences. There are a lot of different ways so people will hear about us, and we'll say, listen, you can't afford not to have this be done.
So what do you do for the company then? Are you on just the acquisition side?
Yeah, I'm an account executive. So I'm one of the few sales guys here. We actually have more hackers than we do sales guys. We have more engineers than we have salespeople. We're instead of a big, huge sales machine, we focus on doing good work, and then the word keeps spreading. So I let people know, talk with them about it, and help line up all of the other resources here for whatever's appropriate for that customer.
And so after you and I talk and we come across a service and we agree to do business together, do I work with someone else after that?
Yeah, I'm always, so the account executive is always part of the picture. We're really big on working together. So, in an engagement, something like a pen test, for example, we always have a project manager assigned to it so that there's a go-between between the hacking team and any engineers who might be involved, and the salesperson's involved. We're really, really big on collaboration with that project manager being the point person. So the customer always knows what's going on. Everyone else internally in our company knows what's going on. And again, that ongoing communication and clear steps for where everyone is part of why we're so successful.
So what do you see in the industry right now in cybersecurity? Where do you think this is going to in the future?
It's a great question. I would probably be getting paid a whole lot more money than I am right now if I knew, but right. It's an interesting thing. There's a lot of things changing. It's very easy to take both sides of the coin and say things are getting a whole lot worse with, for example, ransomware, and just how common that's becoming, and kind of a shift from what information is important, so focusing on healthcare and financials, versus anyone's information is important to them. And so take anyone's information because they're willing to pay for their info. That's kind of been a shift of just grab people's info because they're going to pay to protect their own info. It's very easy to take a negative outlook. It's also easy to take a positive outlook and say, budget money for cybersecurity is going up. More and more people are becoming aware of it. There's a really big breach called the SolarWinds, which affected Microsoft source code, which affected U.S. government entities. About 18,000 entities is roughly the number. It was huge. And so there's more visibility, and with more visibility, there are more changes. I guess the way I would sum it up is there are lots of things going a lot of different directions, and we need lots of good people fighting the bad people.
Well, obviously, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about, cybersecurity, and obviously many different, of course, the most popular one is the election. So we won't go into that topic because it's definitely very long-winded.
Right.
I want to know a little bit more about Frank. Frank, what do you,
Yeah.
what do you do when you're not, managing, hackers?
Yeah. So cybersecurity by day, that's the 9 to 5 or whatever. In my spare time, I like to do homesteading. My wife and I have a few acres, and so we raise pigs, we raise chickens. This weekend, we're making maple syrup. I sell firewood. I'm on the board of a couple nonprofits and am a scoutmaster for one of my son's scout troop. So occasionally I sleep, but doing a lot of good stuff. I have chosen all of it, and it's fun.
Frank, I would not want to see your calendar.
It's a very important calendar. It keeps me on pace.
Whew. Well, hats off to you for sure. So Frank, to wrap this up, how can people get a hold of you? What's the way they can get a hold of you if they have questions?
The easiest way is to look up Frank Whiting on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me there, and look forward to working with you and figuring out what we can do to help make the world a safer place.
Well, Frank, I really appreciate you spending time, obviously, here on a Friday afternoon, getting ready to close doors for both of us, closing shop up for the weekend. But I appreciate your time on today's show. Any last words you want to leave?
No, I appreciate it, Oscar. Nice to connect with you, and thanks for the time.
All right, great. It's good talking to you.